Hi everyone, welcome back or to my channel if you guys are new. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions about K12, which is the online school that I attend, because I posted a TikTok video the other day and a ton of people have had questions about K12. I've also had a bunch of family members, family friends, and people on YouTube asking me questions, so I thought it would be time to just sit here and answer all the questions that you guys have. I remember 3 or 4 years ago when it was going to be my first year frantically looking up YouTube videos and I couldn't find any, and all I wanted to know was just like the basic stuff and I couldn't find anything. I want to make sure that you guys all have a video that you can come to ask questions and get all of your questions answered. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Just so you guys understand a little bit more why I like online school so much, I'm going to give you guys like my story and why I chose to do online school. So I was in 7th grade when COVID started. I was actually at the end of it. We literally went to spring break, which I think is in like March, and we only had about 2 months of school left, probably a month and a half, and then COVID came. And like many other schools around the country, my school switched to online school, and we did like a basic version of online school for the last couple months. I really just sat down with my mom and told her that I didn't really feel comfortable going back in person because my mental health had been better, my confidence was coming back, and I just really didn't want to risk that by going back to all the people who kind of took that away from me. So in 8th grade, I did online school. My grades were fantastic. My mental health was improving, but then it was time to decide if I wanted to go back in person at my high school or if I wanted to do like an online school or homeschool. I'm not gonna lie, me and my mom researched all summer and we still couldn't really figure out what we wanted to do. Then just 2 weeks before school, me and my mom found Texas Online Preparatory School, which is through K12, and we decided that was gonna be the best for me because they had career prep classes. And that's something that I really wanted to do to prepare myself for not only college, but after high school as well. So when I enrolled, it was literally 2 weeks before school. So my supplies came just a couple days before school, and then I started. Now I'm going into my 4th year, which is my senior year, and it was honestly the best decision me and my mom could have ever made for my mental health. And it was also the best choice we could have ever made academically. I love the teachers, I love the curriculum, and I've literally had straight A's every day since I've been in my school. So starting off with this, we're going to talk about the sign-up process. Now this is going to include your parents, so you might want to show them this part of the video just in case if they need to know, or make sure to relay them this information. So I am going to leave this little section over here so that I can pop up like screen recordings and stuff from my phone, but the first thing you're going to do is look up the K12 website. It's going to show you a bunch of schools that are in your area. Like I said, I go to Texas Online Preparatory School, but I also know there are multiple other schools around me that I can go to, including TIVA. Now, a couple things. K12 is considered an online public school, so you can either go to a public school, which TIVA and TOPS are both public schools, or you can pay tuition and go to private academies, which they also offer online. Now, I know a lot of people were asking me like if this school costs money. Mine does not, but if you choose to go to a private academy, it is tuition based, so you will have to pay money to go to that school. What I recommend doing is click this drop down bar and see which schools are near you, and make sure you research each of those schools. They'll have a page on their website where you can look at all the schools and all the different things that they offer, and that can be super helpful when picking out which school you want to go to. One last quick thing that I do want to say is that there are some states or areas that don't offer free K12 schools, which is why it's important that you go on the website and look it up. I had somebody ask me the other day and they looked it up and they only offered private academies near them. So it's really important to look up before you decide if you want to enroll or not. So for the sign up process, there is an enroll now button, and you're going to need to sign up and create a profile for this portal. And then after that, that's when your parents are going to have to put in all that information, like your information, and you're also going to need to grab your transcript from whichever school that you've been going to. For instance, when me and my mom decided that for high school I was going to go to an online school, we had to go to the high school that my transcript had been sent over to, and we had to get it to send it into K12. Also, your transcript includes your like immunizations and stuff, which you need to have. You also have to have some like bills and stuff, I think just for proof of address and things like that. I also did quickly want to say that the sign up process is fairly easy, but when me and my mom were signing up, we did run into a couple issues with getting things like submitted. It's like a problem with like PDFs and files. So if you have any problems, just make sure you reach out to the number. I'll put it right here because they're super helpful and they'll walk you through step by step so you know how to do everything. The next thing that we're going to go over is supplies. Now, I know this is a really big topic, so I'm going to try to go through all of the things about supplies so you guys know. So the first thing is that once you enroll, they're going to send your supplies over. These supplies are free of charge, and all the supplies are going to be is things that you need for each of your classes. Now, for instance, this year I was going to take forensic science, but I decided not to, so now I'm going to send back those supplies. And they are going to send me a couple supplies for physics. I think it's just a book. So they're only going to send you things like that that you need for each class. For your different science classes, you will receive materials that you need to do labs. You will receive books. For English, you will receive all the books that you need to read, but those will also be available online if they don't get sent to you. And I also know a lot of people were wondering, like, when do supplies come? I believe supplies start getting sent out around the last couple of weeks of July and into August, but I wouldn't worry if you haven't received them even by the time school starts. There are thousands of kids that they have to send these supplies out to, so if you don't get them like the first week of school, that's okay, but if you don't receive them after that, make sure you email your counselor or your principal so they can handle that for you. Now, the next thing with supplies I'm going to talk about is like things that you might want to buy. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I take a bunch of my notes on Microsoft Word, which they pay for and they give you an account for. But if you are somebody that likes to physically write down your notes, you can always just go buy a couple of notebooks. They're super cheap at the store. The only thing I would recommend you getting is maybe some notebooks, some highlighters, pens, pencils, things like that, because those are the only things that they don't provide you with. But I definitely wouldn't say you have to go all out or buy like the super cute or expensive supplies, because most of the time you're not even going to use them. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have notebooks, folders, things like that I went crazy and bought my freshman year, and I still have them in my closet because I never used them, so it's not that big of a deal. Now, the next thing that a lot of people had questions about was computers and printers. So if you guys cannot afford a computer or printer, I know that K12 can provide you with them, but you do have to request them. Now, since I bought my own laptop, I'm not really sure how you request them, but I'm sure that once you enroll, there's some kind of page. And as always, you can always call them if you need help figuring that out. Now, I will say that if you are able to afford it, and this is only if you're able to afford it, it's okay if you can't, you can always ask them for help. I would recommend purchasing your own laptop if you can. This is the laptop I have. It's just an HP laptop. It runs off of Windows, and I think we got it for about $200 at Best Buy during back to school season my freshman year, and it's lasted me ever since. It's super trusty. She never runs out on me, and I'm glad that I got this instead of a Chromebook because I feel like it just runs smoother. If you want to run out there and get a laptop, it literally doesn't matter what you use. You can use a MacBook, you can use an HP, you can get a Chromebook, you can literally use anything that you have, and you can also use a desktop computer as well. The next thing I want to talk about that I think a lot of people are curious about is like the first day of school and also the first week, including orientation. Usually how it works, before the first day of school, like a couple days before, you're going to see a class on your class list, and it's going to be orientation, but it's going to be a couple days before school, and it's usually going to be with your principal. Now, you're going to want to attend that just because it's got some like basic information, like if you need help logging in and things like that. Now, that first day and first week of school, the only thing you're going to be doing is having orientation with your different teachers. You're not going to have them all on the same day. They're going to be sporadic throughout the week, but you're going to want to attend those to make sure to get your teacher's email, phone number, and also just to learn about different things that they offer, like when their tutoring hours are and when your class times are going to be. Now, as for how your weekly schedule is going to be, I want to go over that as well because I know that people are really curious. So to the best of my knowledge, this is how it works. This is how it's worked with me, so I'm going to tell you, but it might be a little different depending on which school you go to. If you go to a school that offers career prep classes like mine, which again is Texas Online Preparatory School, you are going to have that class 2 times a week. That is because by my state, we are required to have so many hours in our college and career prep courses to be able to earn our certifications at the end. Also, quickly before I forget, when you take college prep courses, you earn a certification at the end of every semester or the end of every year. For example, I am Microsoft certified, I have a first aid certification, I am certified in child growth and development, and every class that you take will have a different certification if they are career-based. There's a whole bunch of fields you can go down. Right now I'm taking teaching and training, but you can also do health and science. There is a police and law enforcement, so I just wanted to say that before I forgot. Then for your core classes, math, science, English, social studies, you are going to have those 1 time a week. Now that is unless you attend some kind of one-on-one or session with the teacher, that'll add on to your schedule as well. And for extra classes like PE, art, things like that, you'll also have those once a week. So even though we're an online school, we still have a homeroom, but we call that pod time. So every week you will also attend pod time with your homeroom teacher. Mine is literally the best, and everybody in my pod time follows my YouTube. So hi guys, if you're watching, I cannot wait to see you guys again. It's just the best because after a long week, you just kind of get to debrief and you become really close with your teacher and the kids in your class. So it's just really nice to have that time to talk to everyone. Also, everyone gets to share their hobbies and everything. So it becomes like a fun little thing that you look forward to every week. Then depending on how they do it each year, you will meet with your counselor at least once a month. Every quarter, you will also have a session with your counselor just to make sure you're staying on track, you have enough credits, and you're like set to graduate. I believe that's it, but I am going to pop up my computer just so you guys can kind of see what it looks like when you log in, because I know that it might be a little bit confusing to some people. The number one thing you're going to learn is super important is to bookmark not only your K12 login, but also the login to your email. So I'm trying to show you guys without the glare of my vanity lights, but as you can see up here, I have my school login bookmark, and I also have my email bookmarked. Last thing I have bookmarked is actually our contact guide. They are going to run things through something called S'mores, and it's like little newsletters that they send you weekly. And at the beginning of the school year, it's very important to bookmark those because a lot of people were asking, like, how do I contact my teachers? And that's how you find your teachers' emails, your counselors, your principals. So this is basically what it's going to look like when you log in, and you're going to put your username and your password, and then you're just going to click login. When you log in, this is what it's going to look like. You have my schedule, classes, and then you have announcements. I also want to show you these buttons up here. Up here is going to take you straight to your email. It shows you how many you have up here. This little link is an actual drop down that takes you to a bunch of your stuff, like your graduation plan. I do want to show you guys this graduation plan because it's really cool that they do this so you can see that you're on track to graduate. So as you'll see, it'll show you all the credits that are taken, and then if you scroll down, these are the classes that I'm going to be taking next year, and it shows that they're not complete yet and how many credits you'll earn from them. Up here, it also shows you how many credits you've taken and how many you need more to graduate. I wanted to show you guys just in case if you're like curious what that is. So to find your classes for the day, you're going to click my schedule. Now, I don't have any classes on here obviously right now. So when there is stuff, this is where your assignments are going to pop up, and this is when your live classes are going to pop up. It'll show you when the class is, and when you click it, it just takes you straight to it, and that's how you meet your teachers every day. Then if you click the classes tab, which is the next one, this is where it'll show your classes. I don't have any like real classes on here right now. It's just like my homeroom and stuff. But I will click on my homeroom just for an example, so you can click to it and it'll take you to the class. Now, obviously on my homeroom, I don't have a grades tab, but this is kind of what each class will look like, except for a grades tab will be added to it. Here will just pop up like the announcements that your teacher has, and it can also show you if your teacher has any live classes coming up. I did say that somebody asked me like, how do I contact my teacher in the summer? If you can get on your tab, there is a spot right here that says contact my teacher, and that is going to take you straight to a tab to email them. Also, if you're trying to work ahead or see what work you have to do for the day, you can click content, and it will take you and show you all the modules that you have to complete. Hope that can give you guys a little bit of insight to what your weekly schedule will look like, and now we're going to talk about how much time you need to put in. I want to start off by saying a lot of people ask me like, is it easier? Is it harder? I want to say if you put in time and you put in actual effort and hard work, it's going to be way easier than regular school. I love how flexible K12 is because I get to accomplish my dreams while still doing my academics, which is super important. I guarantee you guys, if I was in regular public school, I would not be doing YouTube or TikTok, which is my favorite thing to do, is to create content, because not only would I probably be getting severely bullied, I also just wouldn't have the time to do it, and I feel like that would kill me because now this is my favorite thing. I would say typical workday would be anywhere from 2 to maybe 5 hours. One thing I do want to mention is that every day you do have to log into school. You have to click that login button and make sure that you go through your email and stuff like that so that it can count you in for the day. Just like regular school, if you don't get counted for your attendance, you can get truancy for being absent. Even if you have something to do and you're not going to be able to do your school, make sure you scroll through it for about 5 minutes before 10:59 to make sure that you get your attendance. I would also like to say it is very important to take those breaks in between your classes, because if you don't, you're going to get very burnt out very quickly from trying to work all day. So make sure you're using those breaks in between your classes wisely. But I would say usually I do work anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day, and that is including meeting with my teachers. A lot of the time I like to get that work done in class or immediately after, because most of the time we're talking about the things that are on the quizzes for that day. Obviously, it is not going to take you 8 hours to work, because when you're in a regular brick and mortar school, you are meeting with your teachers, you are doing work in class, and then you still have to go home afterwards and do homework. We don't have homework. We do that during the day, so it all gets finished at the same time. The next question a lot of people had is, do we have to go in person anywhere? The only time you are required to go in person is if you have state testing. For example, I'm in Texas, so I do STAR testing. This year, I don't have to do any STAR testing because I did it my first 3 years, but you will have to go every year and take your state required STAR test. They will message you and they will give you a time and a location, and you just show up there, take your test, and then you can go home. Only other time you would go in person for anything is if you want to join any events that they have going on or any field trips. I would say at least once a month they have some kind of get together or event that you can attend, like you can go to Cane's and hang out with your classmates. There's also a lot of times that they'll meet up to do good things like go to parks and clean up trash. The next thing I want to talk about is how they handle late work. So one of the best things about K12 is that they do not take off points if you have late work. So the thing is that if you have a missing assignment, your teacher will put a 0 in for it, and then when you do the assignment, they will just put in the grade that you got for it with no late deduction. A 0 will only stay in there if you actually just choose to not do the assignment. Another thing about that is I want to talk about how many chances you get on quizzes, tests, and assignments. So the 3 types of assignments you're going to have are quizzes, unit tests, and then assignments. These assignments can be done just through like Word if your teacher writes them out and then you fill in the answers. It can also be done on things like Class Kick, or you might have to like type in your answer into the submission box. Now just with the regular assignments, you get unlimited attempts on that. On unit tests, you get 2 attempts. Then on quizzes, you get 3 attempts. And the system is going to take the best grade that you get and it's going to put that into the system. I also know that if you use all of your attempts, you can also ask your teacher for an extra attempt if you need to. The last thing I want to talk about is I know that a lot of people are like, well, how are we supposed to interact with kids? This is just boring. There's nothing to do. So I want to talk about clubs and organizations that they offer. So if you want to throw on some extra clubs and organizations and put that on your resume or whatever you want to do with it, we have clubs like, I know there's a gaming club, there's like a book reading club, there's yearbook club. And on that first day of school, we're going to give you a list that has a bunch of those that you can sign up for. So the thing about organizations is that if you take a career prep class, it is embedded into the career prep class that you're in an organization. Now, if you don't actually sign up for it, you don't have to actively participate, but it does automatically put you in that organization. Since I take teaching and training courses, so I'm automatically put into TAFE, which is Texas Association of Future Educators, but I don't really get into it because I don't want to like compete and things like that. But I also know that you can be in the organizations and not compete and just do the meetings. The one we offer that I was automatically put in when I took a business class, which was Future Business Leaders of America, and we offer a ton more as well. Said there's also meetups and events, and we have K12 Zone, which you can go to once a week to hang out with your friends and play games. You can also go to your homeroom, talk to your homeroom teacher and your classmates, and there's lots of things we can do to not make us feel like we're isolated. I think a lot of people look at online school as like we're super secluded and that we don't want to be around people, but we do it because we want to better our education and our mental health. I just want to remind you guys to not let anyone belittle you if you want to do online school, because it's a fantastic choice. Especially with how public schools are nowadays, I am so glad that I made the choice to do online school. That is all of the things that I can think of right now, but as always, my comments are always open on TikTok, on YouTube. You can always ask me questions and I'm always there to help you guys. This year, I'm going to be filming a lot more day in the life online school edition videos, just so you guys can kind of get a feel for what online school is like. And so you guys don't feel like you're alone in this online school journey. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video and comment down below any questions or future ideas you guys have for any videos. I love you guys so much and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye guys.